Okay, so after 46 years, I'm about to open my back cover on my Les Paul for the first time, if it'll open. There, we got a little looseness there. Come on. Okay, oh, and that's shielded as well. So, one of my volume pots came apart. I went to turn the volume up, and the knob and the whole shaft came right out. And I guess I really can't complain, I suppose, after 46 years, and it's the first issue I've had with it. So, I'll take a look at that, measure it, and see what I can get online. I already went onto the Gibson site, and they're out of stock, and they'll email me when they come in stock. But I found some CTS pots on eBay at a decent price, and so, what did we lose? We lost, this one came apart. And we'll go right in there and have a look at that. And I just want to try and get the exact same match instead of changing all four, you know what I mean? And so there it is. The inside of the old Les Paul Anniversary. First time apart in almost 50 years. Cool beans. Alright, I'm going to take a snapshot of that and see if I can match the numbers and get the exact same thing. I'll pull out my meter and measure it and see what the ohms are. I know they had 550s as well as 500s in some of these old late 70s units. But we'll do that now. Okay, so this isn't really what I expected to see here. It looks like it's 300K. So that's on my 2000K scale. If I go to 200, I get nothing, which means I'm greater than that. So maybe they used a 300K pot because they have that coil splitter built in, the coil tap. I'm not sure. I have not seen that. So we will go and try and find that online. And this is 13778, and then followed by a 1 and something else under the solder I can't see. 18 maybe. But I'm assuming the 78 is the 78, which is the year of the guitar. Okay. Time to solve this mystery. Interesting. Alright, so I pulled a lock nut and the washer off of that tone control that came apart. The other shaft just pulled right out. And that doesn't move. So I'm sure the way Gibson did it, I'm going to have to take all four of the pots out on that plate at the same time. And then that probably has another nut that holds it to the plate. I did find the 300K pots online for a fair price. Yeah, not too bad though. I mean, I'm lucky this one's a tone control, so the only solder connection is just to the capacitor in the middle, and then the low side tab to ground, you know, to the pot case ground. So that is pretty easy as far as the wiring goes. I'm not going to have to do too much with my solder and iron inside that cavity and worry about burning the finish or the edge of the wood or anything like that. But no Les Paul for a little while. I'll just have to play the hybrid. But there it is. The old anniversary special. Out of commission for the first time in the 46 years since I've owned it. Yep. So we'll get that ordered up, and then we'll pull that all apart and do what we got to do. Bring her back to life. Get her back in commission. All right. I'll see you soon. Or you'll see me. Okay. So, here's my tone control. That just pulled out of there. I had to grab a hold of that with pliers to pull this knob off. So, today, I'm going to hopefully replace that potentiometer. I have the new one already. And I'm going to try the old cloth under the knob trick to pull them off. And hopefully none of the other shafts come out. And that one just came out of my hand when I went to adjust it. And so right now I'm going to be putting a lot of upward force on it. And we'll see. Hopefully I didn't get a bad batch of parts in my guitar 46 years ago. We'll see. If I can get this around there, right? Beauty. There's one. Two. Okay. All right, that's good. Those all came off of there okay. So, because of the way Gibson put these together, there's a metal plate that all four of those parts connect to on the inside. So, I have to take them all off to get to the one I want to change. All right, cool. Knobs came off fairly easy, successful. Nothing bad happened. All right, we'll come back to it in a minute. Okay, so hopefully that's in focus. I just loosened all these up. So we'll pull those off of there. Okay, that's falling right out. Let's use just a sticky note to get underneath the washers. Okay. Dried wax under there, I guess. Okay. And so, right now, I've just got the brake angle of the headstock hanging off the back side of my bed, so that it's there's no pressure on that. So I'm going to flip it over, grab my small screwdrivers, and we'll pull off that control cover from the back side and pull that out. Alright, so we'll get these screws out of here. Get into this access cover for the controls. And then there's a metal shield that screws to the plate that shields this back side from outside interference. Okay. And this was a little tough to get off last time, so got my trusty toothpick, and it seemed like I got it from over this side. There it is right there. Come on. There we go. Actually, we'll put that on the table with everything else over here. And then we got this shield right here. Now this has a 300K set of pots in it. And I'm assuming they went with 300K because it has the coil splitter switch in there. Usually these are 500K on a humbucker. So, let's see how tough this is going to be to get out of here. I can see that wants to turn. Okay. And we'll pull that jack plate right off. Maybe we'll clean that up good while it's off of there too. Okay, it looks like we got 3 lock washers stacked. That's kind of weird. Alright. So, got the jack. There we go. Alright. So, it wasn't really easy, but we got it. A little too deep for that to work that way. There we go. Okay. Alright. I'm going to grab my soldering kit and grab the desolderer and pull that connection away on the pot from the tone cap. And then I'll grab my other potentiometer, which is right here. And we'll set that all up. We'll fold back the tab, solder it to the case. It's a nice CTS. I guess we pull all that right off of there. Alright, and we'll get that going. And we'll be back. Okay, so I protected the back of the guitar with some old supermarket flyers, just in case there's any spatter from the rosin or the solder when I hit the desolder solder sucker thing. That will hopefully save my finish from any kind of damage from that. The pink rag up on the right is my solder and iron wiping rag. Keep my tip clean with that. And alright, I'm going to get my table set up with the solder and iron on it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Got the old well 250 water out for this. We'll try and get the bulk of that right off of there. I might be able to just melt that right out and pull it off. Should be nice. I don't do my fingers. Almost. Keep that clean and cool. I usually don't solder on my bed. But I really feel like waiting for the homeowner to leave to do this, so doing what I can do here. Yeah. I'll load up the solder sucker and Try and get some of this stuff off of it. So basically you just get that solder liquid, hit that solder sucker, which is just a spring-loaded little vacuum tube, if you will, with a heat-proof Teflon tip on it. And that will get the bulk of that solder off of there. See if I can't loop this right around and pull it off. Just like that. Okay. So, old one's off. Capacitor is still in good shape. I'll do this off camera. I'm just going to ground that lug to the case real quick. And we'll wipe the tip off. Keep that nice and clean. So, there's my ground side. So now, I'll get a little flux on the center lug, wiper lug. Okay. So, what I've done is just put a very, very light tinning on my center lug there, so that my solder will fall on there good. And we will just take that and poke it right through that cap if we can. Come on. Oh, I had it. We'll do. I'll just hold it right there. I'm sure you won't be able to see it, but gotta get it done. So we'll get that fed in there. Just pull that back to the loop. Get some flux on the tip. Heat up the wire first to melt whatever solder's on there already, and we'll get a little on our tip, and that's it. Done. Clean that tip up again. Always clean your tip, and they'll stay nice. That's an old tip. That's not new. Just take care of them. Okay. I hope we can get that in there without messing anything up. Be happy. On the outside edge. Oh, my back hurts. Okay, that'll be good. Okay. Okay, that's on there snug. So now we'll put our, we'll call it my depth set. That's not the one. This one. And I'm going to try and match the depth I have on there. Which looks to be about right there. Maybe another half turn. Okay. So there's the soldering and replacement part. Now I'm gonna move things around and try and get it back together, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I took off all my protective paper, put my soldering kit back away, and I just tuck the controls back in. We're going to flip it over now gently and see if the height looks okay on the new pot compared to the other ones. Oh, okay, so as you can see, I get my hands in the right spot here. I'm working blind. Well, yeah, so I got to bring that down a little more. They're all a little funky, huh? Oh no, that one will come through more. This one looks like it's in a little too far. So that one needs to come out a little. The new one I just put in wants to go in a little bit. So we'll pull that back out. And adjust that nut. So I just gave that one a turn, and this one a turn out. This one's still, oh, I turned out the wrong one. So we'll turn that one back in. Turn this one out. Maybe still a little bit on this one. Okay. It looks pretty good. Get that headstock over the end. Okay. Get our 4 gold washes there. And 4 nuts. And we'll drop those all in place. Let's get some wax on it, it looks like. And so I'll just start these all. And I'm just pushing up on that with my fingers from the back. Okay. And I'll just take the adjustable and come straight down on it. Okay. Flip all those all the way to the right. And press our knobs back on. All our 10s facing up in the same direction. Yeah, so the new one might be up a little bit higher, but you know what? I ain't gonna worry about it. That'll work just fine. Okay, so now we'll screw our jack plate back in. Actually, I said I was gonna clean that up a little, so I'll clean that up while I got it out. And I don't know if I had that in the camera view. Pretty ugly, but I'll be right back. And so I just put on my back cover and inspection cover and jack plate and all my screws and explained everything with the record not on. So basically what I did was took my little Phillips, put all those screws back in. Okay, and I backed each of these up till I heard the click before I started screwing them in. So when you're putting it back together, just back them up and you'll feel it drop into the original wood grain of the, you know, the screw threads that were cut into the wood grain. And then just, you know, screw them in there. And if you do that, they'll last forever. You're not going to hog out the holes. If you just come over and start screwing them in, you're likely to cut threads into the high spot of before, you know, the old threads. And after 2 or 3 times, you don't have any threads left. So just always back those up. Same thing with the machine screws that were on the shielding cover. Even though you feel them drop in, you just back them up and you hear it click. And then just go forward and, you know, it should be smooth as pie. If you feel resistance, stop and back right out. And if you do that, your pick guard screws, holes, your inspection cover, control cover, truss rod cover, all those threads will last forever. So okay, so she's back together. Nothing left to do but try it. So I just took the original pot and I put the shaft in there. I looked in there with the flashlight and I could see the slot for the wiper. Put it in there, lined it up and flipped it over and pushed down hard on it and it snapped right in. And so now I got a original pot that still works. Crazy. I didn't want to push it hard while it was in the guitar though, so that was worth doing it the right way and replacing it. But I can say my original has a spare now.